my name is Morgan Millsaps. I am a student at Chattahoochee Technical College enrolled in the Early Childhood Care and Education degree program. This video is for my puppetry presentation, and this poem is called Mr. Banana. So we will start with that, and then I will go on to explain why I chose the props that I did and puppetry's effect on children's literacy. So here we go. Mr. Banana was quite a fruit. He was tall and yellow. He wore a top hat every day. What a swell fellow! One day the wind blew with gusts of such bravado. It blew his hat around the town and it landed on Mr. Tomato. "Well, whose hat is this?" he said. "It's much too tall for me. It must belong to a fruit so swell and tall and yellow as can be." Mr. Tomato searched around the town for the fruit for the hat. It wasn't till he found a door that matched just that. Tall and yellow, speckled brown, this must be the one. Rap, 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 Mr. Tomato knocked, and open the door swung. Mr. Banana stood, tall and slim and happy as can be. "You found my hat! Why, thank you for returning it to me." And puppetry is a fantastic way to engage children in literature in a 3D interactive way. It gets their brains moving, it gets them interested, and it really merges literacy and dramatic play. It builds their confidence when they present in front of other people. It exercises their emotions, and they have to put different emotions onto different puppets. And it can also be a great way to have an emotional outlet. Say if something's going wrong in their life and they have a puppet, they can say, "My puppet is very sad. Today they tripped over and fell." And they can act it out, and then their friends can help them act out solutions and act out healthy problem solving skills. So puppetry is a fantastic avenue for children to express themselves, and especially for literacy, it can grow their storytelling ability, which will help their comprehension of stories. So it's kind of grows in tandem. Children's reading comprehension grows, and their storytelling helps this comprehension, because as they tell stories and as they become more cohesive in telling their stories, they'll be able to understand other people's stories told to them. For my puppets, I chose a non-traditional approach, as you can tell, and I chose fruits, because yes, tomato is a fruit, and a banana. I chose fruits as puppets because playing with your food is a fantastic way not only to introduce puppetry to your children, but also to introduce your children to a wide variety of healthy foods. Playing with your food is actually well known to make kids more adventurous and more likely to branch out and eat different foods in the future. So the more that a child is exposed to a food, and typically this is with playing on the plates and eating and tasting, but when you create a personality for the fruit, or you show it to them in a different light, in a more playful and less let's say daunting for some children who are very picky, in a more playful light, they become less scared of the fruit. It's possible that they could become more confident to try and eat it. Even though it has a face and a personality, kids can typically differentiate. And if they can't, it's always good you can show them, like, "Oh, sweetheart, it's just a fruit, it might be sad that we're going to eat it, but look, we have another one. We're going to make another puppet, and this is the story that's going to go along with this fruit." But this is just to show that anything can become a puppet. Puppets are incredibly accessible for the early childhood classroom because anything can become a puppet. You can use something as simple as a fork, and you can give the fork googly eyes. If you have ever seen the movie Toy Story, there is a character in one of the later movies called Sporky. So a child took their spork and glued eyeballs and pipe cleaners to it, and it became a character that they played with. This can happen in the early childhood classroom too. So simple items such as pencils, drawings, magazine pages for backgrounds can become part of your puppet story, and fruits, crackers, anything that they have on hand that they can give a face and a personality can become part of their story and also part of their diet. So that is why I chose puppetry for this project. It's accessible, it helps children grow emotionally, literarily, and it's just plain fun. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Teachers provide a highly important role when it comes to storytelling and dramatization. So, teachers really do pave the way for children to be confident and secure about playing in this way. Being dramatic and outgoing and telling stories to your friends is not an easy task, even for adults. We have whole classes on public speaking, and children of this ripe young age are just now diving into the world of dramatic play, and puppetry is one avenue that they go into this. Now, a teacher's role in this is very important because the teacher can really make or break a child's experience. If you have a teacher who's constantly criticizing the way a child plays or is interjecting with ideas that are not their own, it can really diminish a child's confidence and creativity when it comes to dramatization. Or on the other hand, if a teacher is a willing participant in the audience, and there is a marked difference between constantly interjecting and being a willing participant, when a teacher is a willing participant, they engage naturally but without imposing too many of their own ideas. For example, a teacher would stop and say, "Oh, I wonder what happens next." Or if the children pose a question to the audience, the teacher would answer with what they think without being um, too direct, too directing of the narrative. On the other hand, if a teacher is constantly interjecting with ideas, they may say, if a child has a puppet show about cupcakes or somebody is baking cupcakes, then the teacher might say, "Oh, instead of cupcakes, I think a cake would be better. I think that you guys should make a cake," for whatever reason that teacher has on their brain. Perhaps a cake is easier found in the dramatic play area, or perhaps a cake is a less messy project for them to take on. It just depends, but that kind of interjection can actually be harmful for a child's confidence in dramatic play. So, if a teacher is willing and able to be open to the kids' ideas and play along with them and scaffold off of them, it can build their confidence and make them feel like their ideas are valuable in the classroom, which does help their ability to be confident in the story that they tell. Teachers also are able to emotionally present the way that dramatic play should happen. So, a teacher can do a puppet show and show them that two characters are upset, but the way the teacher presents the problem solving sticks in a child's brain. So if the teacher were to say, "The tomato's angry at Mr. Banana, he is gonna punch," and in a Punch and Judy play, the children may start to imitate that, and then the classroom could become quickly dysregulated. But if the teacher were to say, "I am upset. Mr. Banana, here's what you did to upset me. You stepped on my foot." And the banana says, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and or something like that. It's a very silly example, but when the teacher starts to use those emotional examples in their dramatization, children learn that. They take after the teacher, they watch what they do, and they will still have their own ideas of what they want to do and how they want to play and what inspires them, but the teacher and how they act and interact with the either flannel board or the puppets or any type of object in the dramatic play area will pave the way for children to act appropriately in the classroom with the dramatic play things.